This episode of Gripping Golf is brought to you by Sycamore Ridge and Senior View.
We're about to shoot a shot.
All right, welcome to another amazing, exciting episode of Gripping Golf Podcast. I'm here with Dave Miller, my partner in crime with all things golf related. If you are not a frequent listener and you would like to get 10% off your order at Nelson Hill, they make the finest handcrafted, sophisticated leather golf products out of the Kansas City area.
For sure.
Eric is incredible at what he does over there, and you can get 10% off your order using the promo code GrippingGolf. That's GrippingGolf at nelsonhill.co, not .com, .co. And he will personally make you a product that is incredible. I know he's just released several new products. I think a very lightweight bag, so good for him. He's a great guy. He's been on the podcast. Check it out. Listen to it. You can see his products. But today we have an incredible guest with us out of Garmin, which is also based in Kansas City, Olathe to be exact. And we've got Scott Moore here with us, who is one of the product managers of the outdoor division or outdoor products, and he's specifically golf-related products. So, Scott, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Hey, Scott, before we get into this, we're going to talk about the Z82 Rangefinder that Garmin offers, which is an excellent product. So before we do that, why don't you talk about a little bit about your background at Garmin, your tenure there?
Sure, yeah. I've been at Garmin for, I think it's like 22 years now.
Oh, wow.
It's been a while. I started out as a software engineer there and have worked on all kinds of products from portable aviation, outdoor handhelds for hiking, automotive products, cell phone products, like everything. But really the last 6 or 7 years I've been focused on golf products, so it's been a blast.
All right, that's awesome, man. I'm going to hand it over to Dave Miller, who can really lead us through this adventure of understanding the rangefinder and the Z82, its benefits. And so, Scott, I hope you're prepared. This is basically like being, Facebook testimony here.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm already just going to go a little bit out of order here from my notes, but the Z82, how did the idea, and it started with the Z80, but how did the idea come about to put your GPS technology into a laser rangefinder?
Sure. Well, it's not the first product to do this. There are other people that have attempted to combine laser rangefinders and GPS technology. They just didn't do a very good job at it. It was very just taking two products and kind of gluing them together, and there wasn't any synergy there. And so we've always been looking at the laser rangefinder market and how we could get into it. At Garmin, we try to come up with reasons for like why we call it why Garmin. Why would somebody buy a Garmin product over the competition? And there really just wasn't a lot of innovation happening in the laser rangefinder space. It was, for many years now, it's kind of the same thing and hasn't gone anywhere. And so we kept looking for ideas on how to get there. And, obviously we have a lot of expertise in GPS, but not only that, we have our own cartography data for golf courses. And so that's a asset that we use to try to, provide value to all of our products. And so really it's just kind of a combination of all these different things that where we wanted to go and what technologies we had, and trying to come up with a way to do it in a solution that wasn't just tacked on. And I think we did that with the the original Approach Z80, and now we have the Z82. So it really combines the two technologies in a seamless way.
Yeah, it really does. I can vouch from experience.
Yeah.
You push the button, you get a lot of information, but it's A, useful information, and B, it's the information that you actually need at that moment. So.
Yeah, I love the why Garmin. I didn't know that, and maybe that's something on the website. But I love that you take the time as developing a product to be like why, and even I'm imagining, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably go down to very specific to each product. Okay, why this product?
Yeah, so. Absolutely. I mean, we look for user benefits, not just Garmin brand. That isn't a why Garmin. It's really what value can we bring that other people aren't bringing right now.
Well, why don't you tell us some of the features of the Z82?
So Z82, obviously, as I said, it's a laser rangefinder. It's going to do that really well. It's going to give you the exact distance to the pin or to whatever you're aiming it at. But what's really unique about it, and I try to tell everybody they've got to look through this thing because
Yes.
when you look at it from the outside, it looks like every other laser rangefinder. But when you look through it, it's a whole different experience. You've got your reticle that you can aim at the flag and get your distance, but at the same time, you're seeing a map of the hole onto the left-hand side. You're seeing the distance to the front and the back of the green. When you hit that flag, you see an arc go across the green at what distance that is, so you know if the pin is in the front that day or in the back. Just really useful information. And then on that map, you're seeing distances to hazards and to layup points. So like all this stuff is there that you just don't see on any other laser rangefinder. It's not even in the same category, really.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, specifically knowing where that arc is and seeing that, the image of the green and then that arc going across it. And then seeing, I hadn't really thought about it until you just said that of, okay, there's my front distance to the front of the green. There's my distance to the pin. I know I have 5 yards between the front of the green to the pin. What am I going to hit to make sure I'm on the green? And then, visually from after you used it, you're looking, to me, when you're doing course management, you're looking at, the contours of the area around it, not necessarily the green, but the area around it. Like I'm thinking of 10 here at Sycamore Ridge. There's a mound front right. If that pin is front, you can hit the green on the right side, and it would roll to the left once it lands on the green. So that's just kind of how I use it.
Yeah, I'm still, I got it a few months ago, and there's still features I'm still figuring out.
Right.
It's there's buttons to push to see different things like the hazard distances and stuff like that, and it's all super useful information. And I'll be honest, the first time I looked through a Z80. I was like, this is too much information for me to get this out of my face, right? A couple years later, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Why did I wait so long to try this? But
yeah, I would agree. And we've had a couple people of the groups that we play in on the weekend we've handed it to them, go, here, try this. And then now I know 2 people that are purchasing them because they like them. So they're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's just like you said, you got to get people to look through it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned the hazard view. That's another useful feature where we show the full map, but if you really want to zoom in on it, you can scroll through all the hazards and it zooms in and it shows you the distance to the front and back of that hazard. So like particularly on water hazards or there's like a fairway gap, it'll show you what that distance is. So you want to know what the distance is to the end of that fairway gap. I mean, that's something you just can't do with a regular laser rangefinder. I mean, if you've ever tried to range a bunker or, you can't range a 100-yard layup. You can't do that. So it's very useful. I mean, another thing with that laser range arc, I know it's, obviously really useful on the green, but there are times you can use it elsewhere. Like if you want to see where that tree is on that map, you can target that tree. It'll draw an arc at that spot. Yeah. And so now you see on the fairway where that tree is.
Yeah.
Get your kind of correlation understanding. Yeah. That's, I don't do it, but you can take, you're talking about you could take it up to the tee box and really get an understanding of the lay of the land of what you're going up there. But it just kind of dawned on me of like, I could sit in the cart as I pull up to a tee box and look through it real quick and get an understanding of where hazards are, bunkers or what.
Do that?
I don't. Yeah.
It's great on a blind tee ball.
Well, blind tee shot, I guess playing Sycamore Ridge so much that I don't use probably the full capabilities that I should be. But if I was going to a course, for sure, I'd probably do some of that stuff. But it's the comparison I would say is you've taken, the technology in just carts alone where they have that GPS screen in them and stuff like that. You've taken that and put it into a handheld device that people can look through and also have the benefit of a laser rangefinder.
Right, you're getting the accuracy there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it integrates with your app.
Yes. So we have Bluetooth in the Z82, so it connects to the phone. And what you get with that is wind speed and wind direction. That's another thing that's going to be overlaid as you're ranging that flag. You're going to know, is that wind behind you? Is it in your face? Is it coming across? And how much? So
yeah.
One of the other things I love is on the tee balls, you mentioned the arc on the green for your approach shots. But if you've got your information input into your Garmin Golf app, for your average drive distance, it'll put a line out there in the fairway. So if you hit driver, this is where it will end up.
Yep.
And it's so slick.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Even someone that doesn't take theirs up to the tee box, I did know that.
Yes. Perfect. All right, so we've mentioned the Z80 a couple times. How is the Z82 an improvement over the Z80 for those that have the Z80?
So we improved the laser ranging performance a lot. So Z80 would struggle sometimes, particularly with greens that had trees behind it, really close behind it, and hitting those instead. Or if you were up high, aiming down on the green, sometimes it would struggle with that. With Z82, no longer that's an issue. It gets it every time. It's hitting that flag. But the nice thing about that laser range arc is if you do miss the flag, you know right away because it shows that laser range arc behind the green. And that, that happens on any laser rangefinder. You just didn't hit the flag, but on other ones, you don't know it. You're kind of questioning, well, is that it or that not?
Yeah.
But with Z82, I would say that's one of the big improvements. With Z80, I felt like I had to range it multiple times sometimes just to get that confidence. With Z82, it's one time. I'm confident it's good. It gets it the first time. So that's a big improvement. The other one was just the image quality. We improved the optics on the camera, and so now the image is a better, clearer picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so speaking of that, do people know that you're actually looking at a digital image of what you're looking at?
I think most people figure it out pretty quickly. I mean, it's kind of got a rectangle look as opposed to a circular look. So yeah, people have referred to it as like looking through like a video game or something. Right. So I think people figure that out.
Okay.
And it's very clear though. I mean,
crystal clear.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree that people probably do figure it out, but I bet you could fool some people of a time or two. They'd not paying attention or something like that. They could definitely look through it and go like, oh, that's awesome. So
is there a programming reason for the digital image versus overlaying on the optical or?
Well, probably not a programming, but just the technology and cost. I mean, that was the best way to do overlays on the view that you're looking at.
Okay.
You mean no one wants to buy a $5,000 laser rangefinder? I'm just guessing at what it would potentially cost.
Yeah.
Just get LASIK for that cost.
Yeah. It'll eventually all be in our eyes. We'll just tap the side of our head and it'll tell us.
Coming soon, the Garmin Golf contact lens.
Right.
I'm going to patent that idea for you guys now. So, and I'm sorry, did you mention battery life difference between the Z82 and the Z80?
I did not. The battery life on them are both the same.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't any improvements in that side. It was really the ranging performance and the display were the big ones, but then we've added the Bluetooth, so we get the wind data. We've added a vibration motor so that you get the vibration when you hit the flag, which it's just crazy how useful that is. It seems like such a simple thing, but it's like when you don't have it, you're like, wait a minute.
Did I get that?
Yeah.
Did I? Yeah.
So that's a very helpful thing. Trying to think what else you can do there's a lot of little things you can do with that I don't think a lot of people know. You can measure the distance of your last shot. So you can mark where you took your shot, and then when you get up there, you can look at it and see how far you hit that shot. You can keep score on it. You can do the digital scorecard and upload that to the Garmin Golf app. So
definitely,
basically just a palm-sized computer.
Yeah. Supercomputer. Yeah.
Right. Right. Gosh, I just lost my train of thought. So, okay.
Do you want me to take over then?
If you need to.
No.
I need to go reboot my computer.
I mean, I like the vibration thing. Definitely something. I owned both the Z80 and the Z82. And I think when we were preparing for this episode, I was talking about how there's just little tiny changes that make a huge difference, even down to the tactile of the touch of the buttons of the Z80. I remember no slam on Garmin, but it was like I went back to the Z80 and I'm like, wow, this is way different. Like just clicking of the button and it feels, it's like not abrasive, but it's just you improved even those little subtle changes so you can see the experience that one person has with the Z82. It's just an improvement overall. So it's pretty impressive.
You're not appling people with the upgrades. It's an actual real
physical upgrade.
Yeah, and those little things like the button, I mean, we did change that, and it's something that you can't really advertise as a marketing thing, but it's glad that I'm glad that people are noticing it and
buttons
seeing
are softer. 10% softer. Right. That's what the demographic is yearning for. It's just too tough on my fingers. The other thing is I don't think the Z82 had this, but the tournament light.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you are in a competition, and we do
Right.
have some features like the plays like feature that uses the slope, you're not allowed to use that in a tournament. And so we had the ability to turn it off before on Z80, but now we have a light on the outside of it that shows that you're in that mode. So
Right.
one, it gives the golfer who has the device confidence that they're not cheating. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got it set up right. But also the people that they're playing with know that it's...
You can see
it's-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Yep.
I regained my train of thought, and
Good
we were
job.
talking about batteries, and I just was curious, how many rounds could a golfer expect to get per charge on this?
Oh, I don't know what we advertise. You got me on the spot here now.
Yeah, sorry.
It's I think it's like 15, but this product compared to other ones varies so much just based on how much you're using it.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so you can get a lot more rounds. If all you're using it for is your approach shots, you can probably get way more than what we spec'd. We looked at it from a standpoint as like, okay, everybody's going to be using this once on the tee,
Right.
once on an approach shot, and maybe one other time in between that. So that's kind of how we came up with that number, and just looked at the power usage for that. But I think I get a lot more battery life out of it than what we've spec'd, just because I'll just use it mostly on my approach shots.
Yeah, it's way longer than I thought it was going to be.
I think we're pretty conservative on that number.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how many times I charge it, but it feels like I never charge it.
You don't, because you always come out here and say, "Oh, my battery's down."
Yeah. Well, it's normally at like 40%, and which I can still get like a couple rounds or
Sure.
maybe 3 rounds in, but it's just that panic of, oh no, it's like when your gas tank's at a quarter. It's like, oh gosh, what if it doesn't make it?
Yeah, then what
So,
do you...
Yeah.
Have you ever played golf without a rangefinder?
It's horrible. Yeah. I mean, back when I was in high school.
Right, I know, but
gosh,
now it's
yeah,
like-
2021.
No sprinklers are marked anymore.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah. And a few courses have the red, white, and blue stripes. But
Right.
Yeah.
Just think kids these days, they have no idea how good they have it.
Right. Exactly. Jeez.
This is where the, uphill both ways to school
Right.
comes
Right,
from.
yeah.
Gosh, when I golfed, I didn't have this handy device.
Every
Yeah.
hole was uphill. Every lie was above my feet.
Yeah. I think
Every
still
approach
true.
shot was 180 yards.
That's what you were telling yourself when you left everything short. Oh, it must be uphill.
Exactly. Into the wind. Everything into the wind. So I think I kind of have an idea of what your favorite feature of the Z82 might be, but you want to care to elaborate on what you like best?
Well,
about it?
the one we talked about with the laser range arc, I mean,
Yeah.
that's by
Yeah.
far the coolest feature of this thing. I love knowing where that flag is on the green, if it's in the front and the back. That's just a useful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And visually, I mean, being able to see it right there is
Mhm.
just really, really nice for me, at least.
I'll come clean on something. I had been using it for probably about a month and a half before I noticed the arc.
Yeah.
Because I just get locked in on the number,
Yep.
right? And my daughter plays softball with one of the software engineer's daughter. And I was telling him, oh, man, I love this arc. I just figured it out. He goes, are you serious? That's like the best feature, and you're just
Yeah.
now figuring it out?
Oh, man.
Like, he wanted to smack me because it was so
Yeah.
obvious. I'm like,
Was your computer rebooting at that point in your life, too?
no, like I said, I got locked in on the number because for so long with the rangefinder, you
just
looked at the number.
Focus in the center.
Yeah. That was like the first thing I noticed. I was like, that's
Right.
awesome.
But
I love
now
it.
now with this, you're getting 3 numbers.
Yeah.
The front, middle, back, or 4 numbers really.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at the hazards and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, preparing for this, I went out to hole number 1 out here. It's the downhill par 4 with the creek in front of the green and 2 bunkers. And I was just going through all the hazards, and it's just on one hole, the amount of information that you can get is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I had a 120-yard shot into the green, and I could see if I topped one, how far my top would go into the creek. If I yanked one left, where it would be in the bunker. It's so cool.
That's a hole that I will use it on the tee box because I want to know how
Yeah.
far it is to that creek.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're playing different tee boxes, if you're all the way at the back, if you're blues, your whites, it's downwind. I mean,
Even if you play the same color tee every week, they move it a little
Yeah.
bit, and that can make
Yeah.
a difference. And you don't
heck
have to-
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Scott likes to be right on the edge of the fairway.
Right on the
just
edge.
to figure that. Yeah, exactly.
He's the guy that knows that he needs to take one finger off for 131 yard 9-iron.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously the big dog in the laser rangefinder market is Bushnell. What makes your product better than Bushnell's?
I mean, it's everything we just talked about. It's hard. It's not even in the same category, really. Like I said, if you look Sorry, there's a fly.
Yeah, it's been here all time this whole time.
If you just look through it, you'll understand why it's different and why it's better. It does the same thing that Bushnell does. It gives you the distance to the flag. Of course, that's what every laser rangefinder does. This one is going to give you so much more situational awareness than that. And you know, one of the PGA tournaments, they allowed them to use laser rangefinders. So
the championship, wasn't it? The PGA championship?
There was so much talk about that and whether they should do that, and there's getting this feedback from caddies and stuff. And one of the things I read that they were saying is that, well, it still doesn't give you the distance to the front of the green. And I'm like, we do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know.
Yeah. That fly is just, it loves you.
Man.
Yeah.
I did shower this
It's a
morning.
Garmin fan. It's a Garmin fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want the Z82.
Yeah, exactly.
So just all that information that you're getting in addition to that accuracy that you get to the flag that everybody needs, you know, that it's just an amazing product. And it's, like I said, it's not even in the same category really. Yeah. I mean, as a Bushnell or any others.
Because they're trying to start integrating some of the GPS stuff into it, I think.
They were one of the first, actually, I think, to bring GPS and lasers together. But like I said, it was just felt like tacked on thing. Mm-hmm. Didn't really combine the two very well, in my opinion. And that's why we didn't go that route. We wanted something different and better.
Yeah, there was like a little screen on the outside of it, from what I remember. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and there's a couple other companies that have done that too. Yeah, put a little screen on it. You know, if that's gives you that some of that same information, it's just not giving you it all at the same time when you're doing the thing that you buy this for is to range the flag. Yeah, and so it's giving you that and all this other information instantaneously.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, the last question was to give us a final sales pitch on the Z82, but I kind of feel like you did. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think he sold us already.
I like I keep saying, just go look through it. Find somebody that has one, look through it, go to the store, ask them to take it out of the box, and you'll see the difference. And I think that's, once you see that, you'll be sold.
Yeah. We don't get a commission from Garmin, but if you want to come look through our Z82s, hit us up in the comments, and we'll make some time for you to check that out.
There you go. Yeah. Perfect. All right, Scott, thank you again for joining us on this great discussion about the Garmin Z82 laser rangefinder. Really appreciate your time. And if you like this episode, be sure to like and subscribe, leave us a comment, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're doing another episode. We did one prior to this, which was the Garmin R10, which is a radar mechanism that helps you improve your game, not only on the range, but indoors as well. And we're going to be doing another one here shortly with the Approach Z82, which is a wearable golf watch, and it's quite impressive. I'm a big fan of it, so be sure to listen to that episode as well.